YouTube, what the crap's going on? Welcome to ROHANMER. We're going to have a battle between Consul of Rome and Levick here. This is actually from one of Turin's tournament, submitted by Consul of Rome. He said it was a very fun battle. I don't know how it ends, and I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm going to slow it down real quick. This is an all-cavalry Bretonnia, so we know it's going to be good. Here comes the Rohirrim. We got a Damsel of Life with Earthblood and Life Bloom, and then we have King Louen, and I'm assuming he's going to be rocking the sword. Yeah, the Sword of Couronne, so great pick. It is extremely effective. I gotta get these trees out of the way, by the way. I'm gonna switch the foliage back. Locked, there we go. So Louen, and he's gonna be supported by the Knights of the Lion Hearted here. Gonna be a Knights of the Realm, but they're kind of upgraded, a little more similar to Grail Knights, obviously, but not quite there. Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, which is a very nice Knights Errant unit. It's the Regiment of Renown. We do have some extra Knights Errant out here on the flank. More here. Knights Errant are kind of a nice unit just because they have a lot of armor and decent charge damage. So they're a good cheap knight unit you can throw around. You can see a couple of mounted yeoman archers and some mounted yeomen in the back. And then another one over here and more mounted yeoman archers. Skaven have set up an artillery box up here, which is quite honestly a fairly effective strategy for the Skaven, as long as they can defend it for long enough. Warp Lightning Cannon's a great idea. Just point it at the most expensive cavalry unit and let it rip. That is actually Iket's Zap Zap here. And then we're going to have a Plague Priest. I forget what this is called. Is it like a furnace or anyway? I don't remember the name of the mount. But we got the Plague Priest here. And then we've also got Throth the Unclean, which is a great pick against Bretonnia. On foot, he can do damage against large, but he has an ability that gives him a bonus versus large for at least a little while. Yeah, it's right here. It affects all allies in range too, so this is a great ability to bring with Throth. And then he can remolder himself when he's on this mount, and he gets the summon of Rat Ogres, which I think is a really good pick here, because Rat Ogres can certainly be useful against Bretonnian cavalry, especially cavalry like the Knights Errant. Over here we're going to see the Knights of the Lion Hearted charge straight into these Skaven slaves, try and start busting their way through to the artillery box. This is going to be a tough fight. There's some Rat Ogres back in the back, and they're not going to make this easy. Most of the Skavens here are going to be pushover, but yeah, these Rat Ogres and Throth, those guys will not be pushovers. They're going to be very tough units to defeat. Look at these. Woo! Boy, those Avalanche Mortars absolutely decimated that Yeoman Archer out there. Not a very expensive unit, but just completely annihilated it. So we see that the Clan Rats with shields and Skaven Slave Spears kind of on the inside of the box. We're going to see a summon come out here. This is a great way to try and hold back the Bretonnians. And then using the Rat Ogres to charge in as needed. The mounted yeomen there. These Skaven slaves might be able to get punched through here by the Knights Errant. We'll see. I don't think the Skaven slaves are going to hold out very long in engagement. We're seeing the Avalanche Mortars just pouring it on over here. And they are really jacking up these Knights of the Realm. They are getting a lot of damage done. I'm going to be curious to see how much damage they've done by the end of the fight. Like, even the short amount of time, they are dishing it out. Comes the Knights of the Lion Hearted charging. Wow, Louen is getting absolutely owned right now. Blessed with filth, but he's dropped the Sword of Couronne now here too. Wow, this is a big mess of a fight here. Looks like there's some pretty significant healing going on for Louen to help him out, but I mean he was taking an absolute savaging in here from Throth. It's that creature killer. And then it was making stuff immune to psychology as well, so that is a big win for the Skaven there. But now a nice rear charge. This is going to hurt the Skaven. It's going to hurt a lot, in fact. So, yeah, that's going to be a nice charge there by those Knights of the Realm. Yeah, Louen gets routed. If the Damsel can try and give him some healing and get him back in the fight, because he is in pretty rough shape here. This has been a brutal melee, and Throth is almost untouched up here, so that is going to be really difficult for Bretonnia to deal with. I'm not even sure if Bretonnia can deal with it at this point, because they are really getting chewed up. Once these Rat Ogres go, though, and some of the Clan Rat summons can get cleaned out, it'll at least leave them with fewer targets to go after. There's still a lot of Bretonnian cavalry. That's a Knights of the Realm, which does have a bonus versus large. There's still some archers back here that can run off routing units. Knights of the Realm back here is trying to go charge this regrouped Rat Ogre. Get rid of it. That's a fantastic move by Bretonnia. Still, though, hardly any damage done against Throt. But, I mean, I guess if they can clear out everything else, Throt probably just won't be able to stand up to that many enemies. Maybe that's the ticket for Bretonnia. Still got the Plague Priest right in there, too. And both these units deal some pretty good armor-piercing damage. The defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, they're taking a big beating in there. I like this, though. Bretonnia's determined to kind of clear out some of the last holdouts of Rat Infantry, though not going great for them here because it's just mounted yeomen. Louen did come back, but he is pretty low on hit points. Looks like he's going to come back and join the fight. There's some Skaven slaves and clan rats here. Bretonnia's trying to clear out. I like this. Use the archers. Use them to try and pick away at Throt. Throt has low armor, and the yeoman archers should be able to do a little damage. Oh, boy. Oh boy, the avalanche mortars came back into the fight, and look at that. Took a huge chunk off of that yeoman archer. This is terrible news for Bretonnia. Great news for the Skaven, because if they can clear out another yeoman archer, that's going to take a bunch of threat off for Throt. So those guys could have gotten some pretty good work done. Wow, man. Those avalanche mortars. I was never a big fan of the poison wind mortars and the avalanche mortars, but having used these guys in my Throt campaign, these mortars, they do some terrific work. Like, absolutely terrific. They're harder to use in multiplayer, but in campaign, I mean, they are absolutely insane. They can just nuke stuff. So I was clearing out, like, whole armies and stuff with them. They were great. Plague Priest here, not able to save. Well, they might save the mortars, at least temporarily. More Bretonnians incoming. See Throt trying to chase out the Knights of the Lionhearted. They're going to get a little bit of reinforcements. This is a close fight here, and honestly, it's kind of in Skaven favor right now. Look at that, Avalanche Mortars with another shot here. They are dishing it out to those Yeoman Archers. They're going to end up getting most of it there, too, before being charged by another mounted Yeoman unit. And that will be the end of them. But those mortars managed to get quite a few kills. I guess I'm going to be curious to see how much damage and how much value it was. May not be a huge value, but should be a lot of total damage. Louen did end up getting some healing, so he's back up to about 1,500 hit points. It's not ideal for Throt, but he's got Creature Killer popped here, so even these clan rats are going to pick up a bonus versus large, I think, temporarily. Creature Killer not hit them? I guess not. Or it's out now, okay. I think Creature Killer goes to the other units. I don't know, I gotta check it real quick. See if I can get on Throt the Unclean here. Yeah, it's all allies in range, so even a summon unit like that should pick it up. Holy crap, man, this is a brawl. I don't know who's gonna win this. This is really quite close. Louen is good at cutting through. He'll be good against Throt here. Throt doesn't have a lot of armor, but Throt's also going to be pretty good against Louen. Kind of a trade, to be honest. Plague Priest doing damage. I don't know, though. It's starting to even out a little for Bretonnia. I feel like Throt and the Plague Priest are just taking too much damage here and not dealing enough damage to Louen. Not that they're not trying. I'm just saying I don't know if they've dealt enough damage to Louen to keep the power bar. But I don't know. Again, it's still very close. Power bar is very near even. Right there, Louen did take some damage. Oh boy, yeah, Throt is wavering. The Sword of Couronne comes in. This is not good timing for Skaven on that Sword of Couronne. That may be the clutch here. It is going to be the clutch for Bretonnia, I think. I think the Sword of Couronne's going to end up saving them there because Throt was putting a beating down on Louen. Yeah, it did. So Loun's sword saves the day. That was an epic battle. That was great. Thanks to Console and Levick for that one. That was fantastic. And fun play from the Skaven there, too. Darn near pulled it off. Yeah, look at that. 15,812 damage to the Avalanche Mortars. Wow. And then look at that. The cannon didn't even fire for that long. It still picked up a value of 1556. So it could zap, getting some work done. The Rat Ogres probably won't pick up a ton of value, but they did dish out a lot of damage to the armored cavalry units and helped hold them. Rot got a lot of damage done. The Plague Priest did a whole heck of a lot of damage too, so that was very nicely played. Louen ends up clutching that one out with the Sword of Couronne after taking an early beating at the hands of Throt. And if we take a look at some of the more effective units, the Knights of the Lionhearted here picking up 12,460 damage. for 1277 value. Really good work here by these Knights of the Realm as well as a valuable performance. This right here, 1460 value from a mounted yeoman archer. Boy, that is hard to beat. And then here, 1167. These must have been the ones that were at the end putting a bit of a beating on Throt and the Plague Priest, because that's where you'd start to pick up that value. A good performance out of that Knights of the Realm too. Wow, yeah, that's really good performance. Very good indeed from some of these units. That's a lot of raw damage from the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. They didn't pick up much value, so they must have killed a lot of slaves. Be my guess, the Skaven slaves. But yeah, fun battle. Great one here. Really appreciate that being sent in. There's actually a ton of replays over on my Discord's replay channel right now, so I'll start hitting those. I haven't had as many battles up here as I should, just because I don't play as many recently, but you all posted a bunch, so I'll start getting to them. We have some replays from the Warhammer World Championship, a bunch of others that people have posted, so I will start shuffling through those. Keep an eye out for them as we roll into next week. Or sorry, I guess this week by the time you're watching this, because it's probably Sunday or Monday when I upload this. And so all throughout this week, I'll be fitting as many of those in as we can on top of the other normal content. Should be able to see some Atomo campaign this week, the Grom campaign again. Going to keep those going, and really hope you all are enjoying it. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I'll see you all again soon.